and welcome to Whack-A-Mole. Have you ever wanted a dowel rod? I know that kind of seems like a weird or silly question, but the answer is I have, at least, because when it comes to like gluing up furniture, connecting things together, there's a lot of different times you need a dowel rod. So I wanted to make my own dowel rods. I'm actually filming this after the fact of making my own bunch of different dowel rod jig thingies I attempted. Because I lost my original footage. That's the short story of it, and we'll leave it at that. So let's dive into it. There's gonna be a bunch of different jigs I will attempt, and then we'll get to the pipe jig, which was actually my original idea that I wanted to start with, but for some reason I waited to do that till the end. I don't know why. Okay, I got it somewhat cleaned up. Da-da-da! So what I'm gonna do is use some scrap. This is actually left over from the table legs of the dog crate hiding table. And this is left over from making a pallet buster. It's a scrap piece of bed frame, and it's already got a nice little angle cut on it. You gotta drill a bunch of holes in here, rip it slightly smaller, and then anchor this on it and sharpen it to make a blade, because it's a somewhat high carbon metal. Might turn into somewhat good of a blade, we'll see. Well, this is all we'll see. And then I can move it and screw it down at different positions. The thing about doing is if I put a scrap piece of wood right here, then I can drill a hole right here and not even have to rip this down further. Worth a try. I gotta find a smaller piece of scrap wood. I'll make it smaller. Aha! There, I told you. I told you I was gonna make that smaller. I always misplace my chuck key. And then I have to look for it, even though there's a hole right here for me to put it, so I can find it every time. I just always put it there. Don't know why, just do it. There's a cut there, and there's the hole through there. So I think I'm gonna have to clean up this edge here, and then I'll put the blade in so then I can cut it. So a simple way to think of what I'm trying to make here is a giant pencil sharpener. You just keep running the wood through until you end up with the dowel rod on the other side. Right now I'm making this oversized pencil sharpener blade and grinding it to the shape I imagine is the right one. That's very crudely sharpened. I'm gonna now take this over to the bench belt grinder and the drum sander, just to give it a better edge. So it's all sharpened up, and look at this. I'm hoping that's sharp enough to be able to make a dowel rod. Now I'm setting up my super high-tech, expensive table saw that everyone dreams of having, and making sure that all the measurements line up and the blade is square with my super fancy rip fence, and then I'll be ready to cut the blanks that will be used for all the dowel making jigs, thingamajigs. This is, I think, a little too big, but I'm gonna try making a point on this to run through the dowel maker thingy, and then hopefully I can make a spot small enough to fit in the driver. Okay, take two. My other blade didn't work. I'm gonna try to take this old multi-tool blade and I'm gonna cut little checks in it, and then I'm gonna sharpen it and see if that works. Well, that one didn't make the cut. The multi-tool blade was a little too flexible and just wasn't cutting the wood well. So I'm going to try to go back to the drawing board and make a different one from the bed frame and maybe make a better blade. Well, this configuration worked a little better, but I think I'll try something else next. This one I'm kind of cutting saw teeth into. The teeth arrangement like this works so much better. You don't need a knife edge. Just coarse teeth, the taper on the one side helps the material clean out a little bit better. Still, I don't have everything figured out yet.
And folks, we have a winner, my first dowel rod in the making.
Okay, so the first dowel rod is made. Okay, so I said this broke off. I found a solution though. I feel like this may just work. It's a deep socket. I'm just gonna try seating it. That feels very solid. Now I think I can run that through.
So that last dowel rod maker worked, so let's try another one. I'm trying to make this out of a solid steel bar. It's about 1/4 inch thick. I'm drilling 3 different holes. You'll see the configuration shortly, but it's kind of like a figure 8, but with one large hole in the center between the 2 circles. So all 3 circles sort of overlap.
So what I'm trying to do is, you can see I have the big 1/2 inch hole. I got these smaller holes. I'm going to merge these holes with a slightly larger drill bit to try to make a cutting surface. That's my cutting surface and that's my cutting surface.
What I'm filing here is the back side, the opposite side of the cutting surface, so that, well, the wood can actually come in contact with the cutting surface.
Man, this is tiring. Hand filing is always tiny. But what do you think of my face taking over the whole screen? Hi guys!
Well, this one looks like it works really well, except my blank is too large. If the blank is closer to the final dowel rod size, it should work great.
So today is actually day 2 of my dowel making adventures. Actually, it wasn't a complete day, just like some small portion of it. But I'm actually coming down again, trying to make some dowel rods. Now, I did succeed in making dowel rods, as you can see. But part of what I'm running into is I'm having to use like a bigger blank, small dowel rod, big chunky piece of wood, because I can't cut down super thin pieces on my table saw, because the gap between the insert and the blade is really large and it just eats the small pieces and makes a big scary noise and all that stuff. So I need to eat away more wood to make my dowel rods. So I've tried a few different ideas for making dowel rods, and most of them weren't not the original plan I had for making dowel rods. I will now attempt to make my original plan for making a dowel rod, and that was taking a pipe. Well, you'll see. I'll do that. I'll do it right now so you can see it.
I'm now cutting the bottom of the pipe, or the top, whichever way you consider it, into quarters. So there'll be 4 equal portions of the pipe with a line cut between each of them. Sort of like the top of a crown, if you will. Now those cuts we just made, well, we're cutting from the very top corner to the back corner of the quarters of the pipe at about approximately a 45-degree angle. We will have to sharpen those next by hand with a metal file. So much fun! Now this is my favorite part, testing the design to see if it actually works. And the best part is, it works! It's alive! Here's that first test dowel rod from the pipe dowel maker.
Okay, so this one is a very small version of the pipe dowel rod maker. And instead of clamping it in the vise, I'm gonna actually put it in the chuck and clamp the wood in here. And I'm not gonna actually even cut a blank out of this. I'm gonna use this as a big hole saw. I actually attempted to make a big version of this, like a big hole saw, but it more burns its way through the wood than cuts it, so not the best. Part of the problem is I also had a hard time centering the center part there, so. At least looks cool. Okay, so that was fast. This doesn't look very pretty afterwards. It's kind of hard to start it at first. Some pieces of wood are easier than others. The great thing is I can just use really tiny pieces of scrap, and you'll be like, oh, why are you making the dowel so short? Well, the reason why is I end up with about a 2-inch dowel that I can then sand the end to glue up and connect boards together. That's what they're called. So I can join boards up with the dowel rods. So that's quick and easy. Now it's time I need to just cut this out of the wood. And then I cut the scrap approximately where the whole drill thingy majiggy dowel rod maker ends. I think that's clear. I'm gonna go and cut this now and show you the results. Okay, just got these cut off at the saw. Right here are the dowel rods cut out on that piece. I'm just making a mess of my workshop. Now we ended up with 3 dowel rods from that piece. This piece doesn't have anything in it, so we'll drop that on the floor. I'll clean that up later. Now let's see if we can liberate these. There's one. And this trash is going on the floor, of course. Now I'll try to liberate this piece. There we go. That piece goes on the floor. And we're left with a small dowel rod. The pipe dowel rod maker does make a lot more of a regular dowel rod versus my different blade contraptions. If you didn't put them in straight, they'd all go all over the place. Now this reduces the maneuvering ability of the dowel rod because it follows it up behind it to kind of act like a stabilizer. So this again is my top rated homemade dowel rod maker that I have tried or invented. So thank you for watching. Make sure to hit the thumbs up button and subscribe so you can see when future different random projects and thingy-majigs come out on Whack-A-Mole Investors. Thank you for watching. Comment down below if you have any thoughts, comments, or all of the above, and we'll see you in future videos. Thank you for watching.
I'm sure this is safe. A good way to trim fingernails.